1, 2, 3, 4. When I turn my radio dial, all I hear is pop country. Those corporate jerks sure get on my nerves. That ain't country to me. Now it burns when I pee. It burns when I pee. That's what Nashville did to me. So let's take a piss on the Nashville music biz. 'Cause now it burns when I pee.
For 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop believing that you were put here for a reason. Stop believing that you're real just because you're real. What's free will without good meaning? It's like the changing of the season. Stop believing the physical is your only reality. Chalked up waste time with your individuality. You look the same as me. Room temperature just like me. You better realize everyone is here for themselves, baby.
All right, folks, welcome to a special interview in studio session with Carrie Nation The Speakeasy. Guys, thank you for playing and welcome to the plush IBWIP Studios. Well, for the band, let me go ahead and introduce everybody. We have Jared, his guitar and vocals, and Tyler is mandolin and brass, trombone, and Brody on the bass, and Zach on drums, and Reverend Aaron Morris on trumpet. Welcome, guys. So the first question I was going to ask is, how did you guys meet and come together as a band?
It was kind of, this lineup right here has been for about a year and a half or two. Went through a bunch of different member changes over the last 5 or 6 years, but we all met in a house me and Zach used to live in and party in, and me and my brother were going to have a show, and then we found a bass player, and Grubb came along, and then our bass player had to leave. We found Brody, and then we picked up Rev.
Awesome.
That's basically how it went.
And you're all from the same area, Wichita?
Close enough.
So where did you guys get the name Carrie Nation and The Speakeasy?
That was our old bass player, actually. We were just sitting around one night. It was I think it was in between our first show. Our first show we had billed as the Starling Brothers Band. In between our first and second shows, our old bass player, Caleb Drummond, we were thinking about different things that would be good for, Kansas-related stuff. And people in Kansas know who Carrie Nation is. And so we figured, something related to Carrie Nation would be good, and he just kind of made it up on the spot. And we weren't sure we were going to go with that name, but our friend Adam announced us as that at our next show. So everyone who was there started calling us that, and then that kind of stuck whether we wanted it to or not. So that's our name.
So for a little history lesson for those not from Kansas, Carrie Nation is who?
Carrie Nation was, she's a prohibitionist, and she was the leader of the women's temperance movement, and she's basically just a Bible-thumping alcohol hater, and she would come into bars throughout the Midwest with a hatchet and smash them up, break up all the alcohol bottles, and run after people. She got put in jail a couple times for it, but she actually hit our hometown of Wichita once, so it's pretty related.
So hence the cover of the self-titled album from 2010. So see there, I learned something. So like I said, the self-titled album came out in 2010. Where are you guys at with putting out a new album?
Never again.
Yeah, we're done. In the meantime, we've put out a split disc with Cletus Scott Schott out of Fayetteville, Arkansas, and it's some old Union songs and labor songs, and we have that out now. But here in a month and some change, when we get back home, we'll dig in for the winter and get our second full-length album done.
We're gonna get started on it.
Yeah, we'll be started on it.
Started.
We'll see when it gets done.
Yeah. It'll be a good bit longer than a month and a half before the next one comes out.
Sure.
To make that clear.
Sure.
Yeah.
So 5 guys in a van together on the road. What is the secret to not killing each other?
Gold Bond?
Yeah, Gold Bond, foot powder,
Gold Bond.
deodorant.
You put the people who snore in a separate room.
We get our own room. Me and the Rev, we sleep together, so to speak.
Preferential treatment sometimes
And
just to keep them away from us.
Honestly, smoke.
Right. And then it's even kind of another question with Jared and Zach. I mean, you guys are brothers. I personally couldn't drive to Wichita with my brother. Do you guys have that close a relationship to where being around each other all the time is just you're used to it, or?
Yeah, we've never gotten into physical altercations on the road.
It's never I was not there. I didn't see anything.
Put a big flashing sarcasm logo at the top.
No, it's all right. I mean, everybody understands. You got roommates pretty much. You're living in a tiny apartment with 6 people, and you do what you can on the road to get your own time, whatever your phone calls in. You're walk down to a different bar that everybody's not hanging out at or whatever. But I mean, everybody knows that you gotta make sacrifices. It's understood. It's not everything's gonna be golden.
Do you find when you guys get home that you all go your separate ways and
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that with a lot of bands that, on the road they're right next to each other. So when they're off the road, they, go and do their own separate things just to keep sanity.
Yeah, there's even times, I mean, when we've been on tour for a little while, we'll hit a town, I don't know if it's been a particularly hard drive or whatnot. We'll hit a town, the van opens, and everyone just goes and does their own thing for an hour or so, and, because you got to have your alone time. I mean, we live in about the smallest apartment you could share for 5 people.
So one of the, you guys are good friends with the Calamity Cubes, and I told...
We know them.
Yeah, I mean, we've
They're from the same place as us.
But...
No, they're great dudes. They're good friends of ours. Yeah. Real good friends of ours.
But I got a hold of Joey before you guys came down, and I said, what's a good story to ask, the band about? And so he told me to ask Tyler about the booby cake in the face. Can you kind of talk a little bit about that incident?
Yeah. It's all about getting them back, too. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't the shape of a booby, but it was we played in was it North Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina, yeah. And we played with a burlesque troupe and the Calamity Cubes, and I think there's another band that played that was from there. Yeah, and then the burlesque troupe had an act that had a cake, and it happened to be my birthday as well. Later that night, I'm about to, sleep in the van because I'm just over it at that point, and they find out it's my birthday. I didn't tell anybody, and
Brooke tricked him.
Yeah, comes out to the van, and goes,
buddy, I didn't know
it's your birthday, man. Yeah, so I start walking towards the house, and I see Cody coming out with the cake. I'm like, well, you guys didn't have to do this. And in the middle of happy birthday, he smashes it in my face.
There's a video somewhere, but it's like...
It's on somebody's phone.
Like a second and a half of Grubb smiling, thinks and his friends brought him the cake. It's like, and then just...
Boom! Right in the face.
Cody got him.
Yeah, it was bad. So,
The follow-up of that stuff.
Yeah. I got them back. They were playing in Wichita at Kirby's Beer Store. It's a great bar in Wichita. If anybody visits there, they should visit Kirby's. But they're playing a show, and it's his birthday. And I'm like, well, I got to get this guy back. So I take the classic pie pan with whipped cream in it, and a whole bunch of whipped cream, and
shove it in Cody's
vegan face, which I totally forgot about at the time. But it's during their encore, and I just sneak up behind him and whisper in his ear, "Happy birthday, buddy!" Boom!
Nice.
And it was during the first song of the encore. They play another one. Yeah, yeah. Whipped cream all over his face, licking it off, and then he licked his face. Yeah. And then he got all mad because.
Baby cow milk.
Yeah, he goes, it's baby cow milk. Baby cow milk. I didn't know they made whipped cream from the baby cows. It was pretty funny.
So, Aaron, when did you start playing the trumpet? What got you into the horn section?
Yeah, it was way back in. Yeah, I originally wanted to be Miles Davis until I lived with a family from New Orleans. And I started listening to a bunch of Louis Armstrong and Kermit Ruffins and all kinds of people, and so I started doing some different kinds of music other than what the. I mean, I've been in funk bands and soul bands and things like that for years and years. But my girlfriend was really into bluegrass, and through them I met the Calamity Cubes, and was asked to play with them, and through them I met these guys. And it just kind of happened that I was going to be in the same place, and they had room for me in the van, so I decided to start traveling around.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's a trumpet player on Daily Rose.
Okay, definitely. So, how would you guys? I mean, we don't, putting labels on, or genres of music, but if somebody comes up to you and has never heard you guys play, what do you describe your music as?
It's hard to describe it ourselves, but. I don't know. It's definitely got some Kansas and some Gulf Coast, elements in it with the horns and stuff. But I grew up on punk rock and ska, so it's got those elements in it. Cheeseface over here. This fool grew up on his favorite band's Foreigner, so he brings that element to it. Brody's, Brody listens to all kinds of stuff, and Rev brings the jazz into it. But my favorite one was like Stagecoach and Overdrive. Somebody said
Stagecoach and Overdrive.
Or if a bunch of Kansas rednecks threw a circus in the French Quarter.
Nice.
Somebody said that.
So, what can you name one of your worst gigs that you guys can remember that like stands out? There's probably been a few. I mean, obviously, through all the times on the road, but
Forget those.
First Lauderdale gig was pretty bad.
Oh, how about the first time we played Asheville, North Carolina, and we got bumped for DJ Lip Gloss.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Lip gloss.
Hey, the
80s.
Cubes were at that show too, I think.
Yeah.
it seems like the trouble happens when they're around. I don't know.
So that's not an unfair thing to say.
Yeah, we had to play early, and we had to finish by midnight because this girl turned 21 at midnight.
Some girl.
Some girl, unrelated to the show, and at midnight we had to be the fuck out of there so DJ Lip Gloss could set up and spin some sweet 80s tracks.
Not even 80s, like he was spinning like 90s. He was like playing like I think the first thing he played was like the Friends theme, like that Rembrandt song, like the Friends show.
Why is
Yeah, dude, it was bad, man.
That
We're
was
just
right
like,
out of the gate. It came like that.
All the girls.
So you guys are touring now. What's the plan for the rest of the tour? Where are you guys headed to, and how long before you guys get back home and start working on the new album?
well, from here we're going through Wisconsin and Minnesota, and then down to Iowa and home. We'll be home on the 27th of this month, but we got a big Halloween show set up in Wichita on the 31st, and that's with Vagabond Swing from New Orleans. Have you heard them?
Yeah,
they're badass. So they're gonna be playing Halloween with us, and then the next like 4 dates down to Texas, and then we're going down to Florida. We'll be done with all that right before Thanksgiving. Start working on the album.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you very much for coming and being on the show. We're going to check out your whole set tonight live, but thanks for coming to the IBWIP Studios, and thanks to Miles for getting dinner.
Yeah. Thank you, Molly.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Wichita.
1, 2, 3, 4.